Oh, it works now. All right, cool. I can't hear anything, so I'm not sure exactly how the live streaming works. This technology stuff, I don't really know much about it. Last time I did a live stream, I actually had a goal of what I wanted to talk about, but this time I'm just hanging out. I was going to make a video today, but decided to do a live stream instead. Yeah, I don't know what the delay is from the real time to the video to the chat, so there's a little bit of delay going on here. But I see that audio is working now, so that's good. Yeah, chat's filling up fast. I gotta make sure if y'all have any questions here that I'll be able to hit it. I've also been messing with these output settings when it comes to OBS, so I got to make sure it all works right. What's up, Yash from India? Ladakhan Shan, okay, boomer. What's up, Archie? Bite Hunter. All right, cool. AR, how's iOS development coming along? It's not. I haven't done iOS development in a while now. You're not going to Activision. Dude, hang out and help me get this Node app to deploy through Heroku. I don't even use a Node. Have, but don't. Lots of love from the UK. Your videos helped me secure my first software dev job 6 months ago as a web developer. Many thanks. No problem, Slide Dragon. I'm glad I could help. What's up, Edgar, Carson, Hassan? Portugal. What would be really cool is if I could see on this where all y'all are tuning in from. Because I know there's a lot of people from India, United States, north and south of here, and Canada and Mexico, down in Brazil and Portugal, and it's pretty cool to see where everyone's from. Arkansas, another Portugal. Dublin, Ireland. So y'all been celebrating since this weekend, huh? All American Cowboy couldn't get it done. That is, if you pay attention to UFC. How's the coffee going? Coffee's going good. Really, there's a bag of coffee right back there that'll keep back there, Keep that aroma in the room. But coffee's going good. Thank you for asking. I'm a computer science student in college. What are the most important languages to learn? I have only been taught Java. Well, for whatever you want to do, that's going to be the most important language. If what you're doing right now is focus on computer science, then whatever language they're teaching you in computer science to get the best grades, to be able to learn the most, that's most important, because the higher you can get in one language, the easier it'll be able to go on laterally and learn C++ from Java, or even Python from Java, or any other language. So it'll make it a little bit easier as you go through, as long as you learn one language and then transfer instead of learning the basics of every one. Bryce Woolton, you're from Pungo too? That's where I'm from. Well, I'm Blackwater now, but close enough. How many applications do you expect from applying to 100 online? How many applications do you expect from applying to 100 online? Do you mean how many responses of your applications? It depends. Did you cater those resumes to the job you're applying to, or do you just have one generic resume and say, here, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it? If you just said, here, take it, then maybe one, maybe none, maybe two if you're lucky. But if you catered the resume towards every single job you got that you applied to, then a better chance. Knott's Island. Yeah, my buddy lives out there in Knott's Island. I have a few friends over there in Knott's Island. Virginia side or North Carolina side? Probably North Carolina, huh? Brazilian in the Netherlands. Boring old North Texas. Man, this is cool. I like this. Even though it's the only time I ever stream. Do you play video games? Greetings from Greece. It's almost 1 a.m. here. Yeah. I used to play when I was in middle school. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox, of course. And then I played World of Warcraft, which I didn't really tell many people that I played that at the time. But I don't really care about talking about it now. And then I play Fortnite sometimes. Not too much anymore. You're from Blackwater, man, straight out of Red Dead Redemption. I'm from Not Red. I'm from Red Dead Redemption, so I guess that makes sense. Is C++ worth learning in 2020? Yep. Java or Kotlin? Nah. I just really like Java. I'm biased, but Kotlin, I mean, seems like that's the move when it comes to like Android development. How many jobs did you apply to before getting the job you got out of college? Well, the thing is, the way I got my job when I came out of college is from an internship I had while I was in college. So before I really had the time to start applying to a bunch of different jobs, I was already in communication with the owner of the company for the job that I got when I graduated from college that I held for up until second half of last year. So not much. But if we actually want to answer that question in a real way, more realistic way, how many internships did I apply before I got the internship that led to that job? 7 or 8. And I got 2 of those internships that I applied to out of those 7 or 8. Your channel helped me change careers and get my first dev job in without having a degree. Pretty cool. You know what's wild is I remember my dad was talking to me. He knows this owner of I don't know, maybe it has to be software development. I think it's the owner, CEO, something of this software development firm, if you will. Let's just pretend that's what the person owns. And that guy said that his best software developers are the guys that are self-taught, because those are the people, at least this is what he thinks, those are the people who actually get whatever needs to be done because they're genuinely interested in learning. A lot of people go to college just to get the college degree in order to get a job, not always because they're genuinely interested in learning. Take with that what you will. Run, Forrest, run. Yeah, I haven't heard that one before. All right, I seen it. I seen your 3 comments there. NC, Bryce. All right, I see. What's up, dude? I'm a web development student in the Netherlands, and I got my first part-time React.js job. Thank you for inspiring me. Not a problem. Congrats on the job. React.js. Get to it. What projects are you planning on building? Fun artificial intelligence projects. Machine learning, if you will. Interns and temps are some of the best hires. I can agree. Coding phase. What's up, man? What do you like more, web dev or mobile apps? I don't know. I like them both. Different facets of them really interest me. The reason I got into mobile dev off the get is because it was less confusing. iOS development, you're going to be coding in Swift as the language, Xcode as the IDE, and you're going to be putting up on the App Store. When it came to web development, I'm like, look at all these different technologies and text editors and IDEs that I could be using. I'm going to have to do the back end and the front end. There's a lot more that went into it, at least in my mind, that I was leaning on mobile apps off the get, but now what I did at my job was straight up full stack development, everything from front end, back end, database, and in between. And I think web apps, yeah. C# for games, C++ for the rest. Coding Jesus. I addressed this in another video. You'd be surprised if you didn't see that video how many people comment about how I look like Jesus. The beard and the hair, okay. What has been the favorite project you worked on till date? Probably this artificial intelligence Sudoku solver that I created, because I went ahead and created the game and then went ahead and created the algorithms in order to solve the game, and that was a lot of fun. And I really loved Sudokus when I was younger. I did them all the time. So just to be able to kind of have that come full circle and integrate it into coding, that was a lot of fun. Maybe that's also recency bias, because while I did that 3 years ago, maybe 2 years, no, 2 or 3 years ago, we'll say, I've been doing a lot of artificial intelligence work lately, so recency bias is a real thing. So considering I'm into artificial intelligence again, that's probably why I answered it like I did. Motivation for coding, please. Well, the motivation I have for coding is just have fun while doing it. Here's the thing. when it comes to coding, sometimes you don't feel motivated, even though you like coding and whatnot. You may know you have fun in the back of your head. Go ahead and sit down, work on a little problem for 5-10 minutes. Next thing you know, an hour's gone by and you've been getting to work. But I like to say it's less motivation, more discipline. If you want to get something done, and you got to make it part of your daily routine, part of your life, that this is what I got to do. Like people who go to the gym, they make sure that they go to the gym every single day or every other day or whatever their schedule is. They make sure that they get everything done that they need to get done. Will AI learn to code? I don't know. If supposedly there are applications, there's artificial intelligence that are already creating their own apps under Amazon. I've heard that through the grapevine. Don't know how true that is. Don't know if it's online. Never looked into it, but maybe they already are coding. But can they change their own code is a whole other question, in my opinion. Because having something that can be able to write code, okay, that's still wild, but that's a little bit more plausible than having a program, an artificial intelligence being able to change its own code in order to be able to do basically whatever it wants. Is Python the only way to AI and machine learning? No. A lot of people do Python. A lot of people like Python. I created a few things with Python, but again, I'm biased. I like Java. I've been doing a lot of looking into processing. It's like a, what's the best way to describe this? It's like a layer over top of Java in order to get into like a more visualizing aspect of artificial intelligence in the programs that you write. Who are we are here and we need help? I don't know what that means. Does software engineer require math or math literacy? Certain aspects of it, yeah. Deep learning, yeah. That applies to what I was just saying. It just I don't know. It's interesting when it comes to how far we think these things can go and how far they actually can go. Do you think the Team Treehouse tech degree is worth pursuing? I don't know. If they could teach you how to do what their tech degree says, then I guess so. Let me take a step back. I hold with what I just said, but I'm not sure that the degree itself will hold any weight for applying to jobs. I think that the stuff that you learn and the projects that you build and put on your resume and portfolio will help you get a job. I'm starting my intro to Java class in 2 weeks. Do you have any advice? If you're in like a college or something, then I would say for advice, look into if they have a book that you need to read, if they have chapters, try to get ahead on whatever material that you're going to be learning. I know it's a little bit harder if you're just starting off into coding. So when you enter the semester, try to be ahead of the schedule. If you know you're going to talk about variables or functions in the next class, then read up on them. Read up on the chapter that you're about to learn, because while if you read up on it off the gate, you may not understand it. When it comes into class, you'll start being able to connect the dots. Then when you go home and do the assignment or however your class is structured, you'll be able to basically have 3 looks at it while everyone else has maybe 1 or 2. So just be prepared for the class. That way you can actually understand what the instructor is talking about. Computer science or software engineering, and why? Well, I did a computer science degree. I feel like most colleges offer a computer science degree. It's more versatile in the sense that I feel like if you get a computer science degree, you can get a software engineering job or any other facet that falls within computer science. But I think software engineer, if you know 100% that that's what you want to do, hey, you can't really go wrong there, can you? Should I take the AI internship or the web and mobile full stack development? Do whatever you find the most interesting and look into the companies and the positions and see how much of the work they say is the work that you do. What happened to your trading bot program that you were going to share? Well, I was looking for a project to not only build for myself, but build and share with the channel. And at the time, when it came to the stock trading algorithm, some people showed interest, But in regards to the amount of views that it got in the first week or two and the amount of comments relative to those views, I didn't see enough interest in it for me to pursue that and put all that work into it for a video series. Now there's a lot more people who are interested in it. I think there's another fella who made this trading bot video, and that kind of went viral. And then I'm assuming that my video was in the recommendation. A lot of people clicked on that, the resources when it comes to coding a stock trading algorithm. So a lot of people have been asking me about that lately, but as it sits right now, it's not happening. In your latest video at 3:10, it says, "We need you." Who are they? I'll have to look into that. Do you think C++ is good for getting an internship? Yeah, if it's a coding internship, you have C++. Even if they do Java or C# or something similar, if you have C++ and it's an internship, so they understand you're just like at the basic level, yeah. I've been 3 months on a web dev internship. Whoa, you just hopped up in a chat there. Any tips on how to get hired? It depends. Do you want to get hired at the company in which you're interning, or do you want to get hired at a different company? If you want to get hired at the company you're interning, then apply to a job. If they have an open position, then apply to a job there, and they may recognize your name. Go ahead and hand your resume to the person you know is going to be looking through the resumes personally instead of doing it online, or do it both, or just kind of get the word out there that, hey, you want a web development position at where you're working. Otherwise, just share your experience on your resume and then give it to the other company if you're not looking at a job at your current internship company. Tips on not being nervous during interviews. I seem to not be myself during interviews. I guess I just need to do it more. Good old shot of liquor. No. I would say I'm not very good at giving that advice because I go on straight autopilot when it comes to internships, and I get nervous as well. So I don't know what to tell you. Since this is a broad degree for a student doing bachelor's in it, how can he know which field to dive into? Any tips? Shout out from Pakistan, by the way. Great videos. Thank you, Muhammad. Here's the thing. When it comes to the field you want to dive into, it's exactly that. Whatever you want to dive into. If just whatever piques your interest the most. Maybe you have to take a few different electives, and that'll allow you to better decide what you like. Oh, we jumped again. Can you do more programming rather than computer hardware and computer science college classes? Can you do more programming rather than computer hardware in computer? Not 100% sure I understand that question, but in computer science classes, you do more programming than anything that comes to computer hardware. Are you a Linux guy? If yes, what is your favorite distro? Yeah. I used to be strictly Ubuntu just because that's what I used at work, but now I use Arch, by the way. I can't meme without smiling. Not very good. Is it necessary to transfer to... I do actually use Arch Linux, by the way, though I really like it and the customization and whatnot. Is it necessary to transfer to a 4-year university, or is a associate's degree enough to be able to get a job? I don't know. I've never been through the process of having only an associate's degree and then applying to other places, so you have to test that out and get back to us. I think your portfolio, as well as your associate's degree, will work in your favor. I'm about to start bachelor's in computer science. Any suggestions? But I'm advanced in Python. I learned it on my own in Udemy. I don't know what Udemy is. Any suggestions? I mean, I would just say I've made quite a few videos when it comes to preparing for a computer science degree and things of that nature, so take a look at those. But when it comes to right now, definitely go into these classes, whether it's Python class or Java class or C++, as if you don't know anything. Because here's the thing. Some of these classes I knew a little bit, and when we had the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of class, I'm like, I already know all this stuff. And then, week 8, 9, and 10 hit, and I thought oh, I could just treat it like I did the first few weeks by not really studying that much because I already know this stuff. And it hit hard because, well, I actually had to study, because when I didn't study, I wouldn't do too well. I wouldn't learn too much because I didn't know that part of it. So just go in there, pretend that you don't know anything. By that I mean with an open mind. I had a big argument about this, but do you think calling yourself software engineer when you have only done web development is right? By the way, anyone can call themselves what they want, but is it right? I guess it depends what you mean by web development. If it's front-end development only, then, I mean, in my mind, that's not considered a software engineer. It doesn't really, oh, that's coding phase. Hey, in my mind, that doesn't really consider it as a software engineer, but, web development, I did web development, but I did front-end, TypeScript and Bootstrap and HTML, things of that nature. And then on the back end, I did Java, Spring Boot. I worked in a database, so I would consider myself a software engineer. So that's just my take on it. So yeah. Can you do more programming? I already answered that question. Or I tried to answer that question. What's up, Miko? I want to start learning about programming. Can you recommend me some lessons, please? You just have to dive in as someone who is interested in learning. And here's the thing. When you're first starting out learning, you really want to be in a situation where, all right, I want to follow this single path so I can get to the top as fast as possible. And even that's what I say, pick a language, start building things so you can get as experienced as you can in that language. But in order to pick that language, there's a whole lot of research that goes into it, because just your pure desire to learn will take you to all ends of the internet learning, just reading up on what you can build with Java, what you can build with C++. Is probably what brought you to my channel. Learning a little bit about computer science, learning a little bit about what, languages should I learn to do artificial intelligence. And then you're like, oh, well, look at all these different IDEs and text editors. And you just start doing a little bit of research here and there about all of those different things. And all of that knowledge over the span of 3, 4, 5, 10 years is what will make you a good software engineer. While some people may be focused enough to just do, all right, I'm interested in coding. Java, I'm going to do Java. I'm going to be amazing at it. And they don't really see anything else, just straight up tunnel vision. I don't know anybody like that. If you're like that, good on you. But I think all these questions that you're asking and everything that you look up regarding these questions and your interests, I think that's a good thing. So look at it as a good thing, not as something like, I just want to hurry up and learn so I can get a job and get paid. Or just enjoy the process. What classes did you take in college? Go on Old Dominion University, computer science curriculum. Look at the mandatory classes in computer science as well as your general education. Those are all the classes I took, along with app development as an elective, artificial intelligence classes as an elective, and a few other, web development as an elective. Those are the classes I took in school. Could a portfolio with one big project using all my skills get me hired? I guess it could. What tip can you give me on starting university that is in programming? I kind of already answered that, didn't I? In your current job, what software development model do you use? I don't have a current job anymore. This is my current job. I'm really struggling to decide between math and math literacy, because if I choose math lit, I'm scared to not get these well-paying jobs, and math to me is difficult. Do you have any suggestions? I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not sure which way you should go with that. Hey, just want to stop by and let you know the coffee I ordered came in yesterday. My girlfriend and I love it. Delicious. Have a good stream session, man. Thank you, Destin Wolf. Appreciate that. I always love to hear feedback when it comes to that. Starting with bachelor's in cybersecurity, what are your thoughts on it? Cybersecurity is cool. What do you want to do? Penetration testing or something in that realm? I'm going to look for your comment. Who is that? Who was that? Where did I just see that comment? Cool Ninja 360 with the copyright sign and the trademark there. What do you want to be? Penetration tester? I'm just curious. Or if you don't know yet, hey, you don't know yet. That's cool too. I want to create a portable Java development environment on a USB. How do I accomplish this? I don't think this live stream is long enough to answer all that. Would you recommend me to do computer studies instead of computer science? Which one is easier and which one has the least amount of programming? Computer studies, not sure. I don't even know what goes into computer studies. Is that like computer engineering? If it's computer engineering versus computer science, then computer engineering has less programming than computer science, but it still has programming. I love it how you share your knowledge with everyone like you do. You actually care compared to many others. I got into programming a lot more because of your videos. Thank you, Miko. Appreciate that. Do you only use Linux even for gaming? No. The computer I'm on right now is actually Windows 10. I actually plan on making a video here because most people starting out, they may not know much about Linux. They may not know much, may not know much about Linux. So they only have Mac OS or Windows 10. I think I want to I'll make a video where I take you through the entire process of going from Windows 10 and downloading your IDE and dogs barking and coding up an application and creating a lot of stuff. Hold on one sec. I'll be right back. All right, audio is working again. I don't know how that got muted. All right, I'm going back up and answering some questions while the chat catches up. My counselor told me to take 1, Intro to Java, 2, Intro to Data Structures, 3, Discrete Structures, 4, Assembly Language and Machine Organizations. Are all those necessary? Did you take those? I took Intro to Java. Well, what did I do first? I do Java or C++? I did Java at one course. I think at ODU I did basically Intro to C++ for 2 years, and then we transferred that knowledge over to Java. But yeah, I did an Intro to a Programming Language, Data Structures, Discrete Structures, and then Assembly Language. I think we called it something else, but yeah, those seem necessary. If you're going through computer science, they ought to have some type of workflow of the curriculum. So follow that. I can't believe the chat hasn't even caught up yet. Or at least I hope it hasn't caught up yet, because I see that my mic is working now, but I still see people saying that there's no audio. So I'm not going to type that because I don't think that'll get back to me here soon. Is this working again? I'm assuming that it's working again. Okay, so I wanted to ask about how can one learn about the MVC and others and whatnot. I think that was a question that I answered when my mic was muted. So I think there's a course by Harvard. I don't remember if it's their intro to programming course or if it is their iOS development course. I kind of get those intertwined sometimes. And they go over, the professor there at Harvard, mind you, this is free on YouTube, video course, goes over MVC. So consider taking a look at that. Maybe it's Stanford, actually. What do I know? Just do some research on it, and things will start falling together once you read more and more about it. Do you like Vim? Yeah. Cool. Trying to go all the way back up. See if Cool Ninja responded. I couldn't see. I saw someone responded to Cool Ninja, but I didn't see a response from my initial question. Hey Forrest, what suggestions do you have for up-and-coming YouTuber? Well, if this is your main account, get a profile picture, do some channel art, and then bring some value. Here's the thing, you gotta remember that a lot of people, you need to be able to bring value to them, not just hope that they watch your videos because you think they're entertaining. And then make sure your thumbnails are on point, make sure your titles are enticing, and it's just stick with it. In all honesty, I am 3.5 years into YouTube, and I remember, like, for the first year, I'm like, things are going to go well, but I didn't think that. I was like, 5 years, maybe I'll hit 100,000 subscribers, and I think it was after 2 or 3 years I hit 100,000 subscribers. Now we're at like 172,000. So, I mean, I was just making it. I mean, I kind of discussed why I started YouTube and why I continued with YouTube and coding and things of that nature. So, in the last video. I'm a big fan, bro, from South Africa. This is T-Roy. And you have gotten me in the right path and doing my first year in software engineering and doing internships after your advice. Good stuff, good stuff. When was the moment you considered yourself to be a software developer? After you were able to do the tasks given to you at your job, or after building projects that you understood? I don't know. I don't really know if there's like that one moment where it's just like, all right, I'm a software developer now. I mean, don't get me wrong, once I had a job as a software developer, software engineer, tomato, potato, I consider myself a software developer. But I think I consider myself a software developer before that. You especially feel like a software developer if there's a program that you're struggling on and you finally fulfill the program at hand and complete it. You really feel like a software developer at that point. Why is your Discord server so quiet, and what's your Discord? Well, I felt like in all honesty, I started the Discord server so I wanted to kind of hop into it maybe once a week and kind of chat, but I realized that without me in there, not many people, I mean, people chat with each other sometimes, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to freeze the Discord server or delete it or shut it down in some manner. So maybe within the next few weeks. Why is this going to be your only live stream? This is fun. Yeah, well, I didn't know what else to title this, and I don't plan on doing any future live streams, in all honesty. Doesn't mean it may mean I won't. I don't know. It'll be interesting. All right, so Cool Ninja 360 said, I'm probably going into security software development since I have both a passion for coding and networking. By the way, what language would you suggest after C++? I don't know. That's really cool though. Security software development. So you're no script kiddie. You'll have the penetration testers using your software. If that's the route you go. I guess there's different facets when it comes to security software development, but I don't know what language I would suggest after C++. It just depends when it comes into. All right, actually, here's a little bit better advice than I don't know. When it comes to security software development, and you're going to get your cybersecurity degree, look into what places you can work. If you want to stay at home, look at places around where you live that offer jobs that you want to do, and look into what languages and tools that they use. And if you know you want to apply to that place and work at that place, then follow through with that. If they use Python, go with Python. If they use Java, go with Java. If they go with C++, continue advancing your skills in C++. I still have people saying that the audio is good now. I think y'all need to hit live on this. Or maybe my chat's behind. Sorry, maybe I need to hit live on this. I have a basic knowledge in a lot of things like cybersecurity, Android, Kotlin, Java, Flutter, web, competitive programming, Linux, and others. What career would you suggest? Whichever one floats your boat. It doesn't exactly, obviously you have just a genuine interest in all of this. So if you like all of them equally, just pick one. Pick one and go with it. Love you, bro, from India. Can you suggest me something for Internet of Things and machine learning? Combined? I don't know. I've tried Internet of Things, to work with a little bit of hardware here and there and whatnot. And machine learning, make games and create write an algorithm that learns how to play the game. Do you go live on Twitch? No, I haven't gone live on Twitch in a very long time. What are your thoughts on Android development? I've read an article that says that companies won't put a lot of money on both iOS and Android development where there are cross-platform technologies. Some companies do. I mean, the big tech companies, they typically do. I mean, you have Airbnb where a couple years ago, they used to have React.js integrated into the application, but I think it's React.js. I may be wrong. Or React Native, rather. You know what I meant. Whatever the mobile is. And then they ended up taking it out and just going straight up native. They do have Flutter now, which I believe is Google, which is very interesting because of the language that you use for Flutter is different than the language that you use for developing Android applications. Wouldn't it be really cool if, right now, because Google owns Android, wouldn't it be really cool if right now that Google, instead of saying, hey, Kotlin for Android natively, they would say, what do they use, Dart for Flutter? Whatever it may be. Let's use that to create the Android applications and use our technology from Flutter to create the iOS applications. So you're building a native Android application and then a cross-platform, if you will, iOS applications using the Flutter technology. I always wonder why they didn't go about that. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but cool thought, huh? I'm in my last semester of CS degree. How can I polish my concepts for job interview? Which concepts needs to be revised? Which personal projects I should do to decorate my CV? Please guide me. For whatever job you're applying to, this is a very broad example, but bear with me here. If you've created web applications and mobile applications, and let's just stick with those two. If you're applying to somewhere that does web development, then put up your web applications. If you're applying to a place that does mobile development, put up your mobile applications, and then maybe put two of your mobile applications in one web application, or put up two of your web applications in one mobile application. Just all depends on where you're applying. Just make sure you cater your resume there. And then wherever you're applying to, if it's a big company, go on Glassdoor or whatever website it may be to see if they have any generic questions that they ask, coding questions, interview questions, so you can be better prepared. Here's the thing. I don't like to go into an interview and they're going to ask me all these technical questions and I have no idea what they're talking about. I like to be prepared for it, regardless of whether they tell me or I look it up online. I'm studying front end this year, but I'm not sure what is the safe point to get an internship this year. Where do I need to go? I feel like there's never a good answer to that. I just started applying to places because I realized that I should probably get an internship, and if they ever ask me to do anything, then I'll do my best to figure it out. Do you ever watch videos from other YouTubers in the programming community and they give bad advice? I typically don't watch videos from other YouTubers in the programming community except for maybe one or two. And I don't watch all of theirs, maybe only one or two videos. And that's because I don't want to be influenced by someone else in the making of my own videos, especially within the same space. But I have seen a few of those videos that may have been recommended to me that I found interesting that... What is the Instagram page of First Supply Coffee? At First Supply Coffee, exactly how you spelled it, no spaces. There should be only a couple, like two posts, I believe. If you go on my Instagram, Forrest P. Knight, look on who I'm following. I'm only following two people, my wife, Molly, and then First Supply Coffee. So that's an easy way, and it should be in the description of this video, actually. That's actually a easier answer. What do you do that's not coffee or programming? I make YouTube videos and then coffee, and then programming. But I also like to, I don't know, I have a lot of different activities that I like to do, outdoor activities. Computer engineering versus computer science, which is more valued? When it comes to computer engineering, that's more valued. When it comes to computer science, that's more valued. It just depends on where you are, what sector, what job. What job? Hey, Forrest, do you recommend college students take the C++ or Java route? I mean, whatever your college teaches you, right? A lot of colleges, I hear a lot of colleges are shifting towards Python. Personally, I don't like that. I know a lot of y'all aren't going to like that I'm saying this, but I mean, it's not like it's a secret that I feel this way, is that I feel like Python shouldn't be the first language that you learn, because while it may be a easier barrier to entry if you know nothing about coding, I feel like it makes it more difficult to learn other languages, because C++ and Java, their syntax is much more similar than Python and everything else. I feel like Python syntax is just much different than C++ and Java and C# and Swift, even Kotlin. I feel like those are in a bubble where they have similar syntax. And Python, while okay, I can see the similarities, they're kind of in their own little bubble over here, where I would teach someone Java or C++ because the skills that they learn are better transferable. And that's strictly syntax speaking. But then again, you can create programs in Python in like 1, 2, 3 lines that may take you 10 times the amount in other languages. So I know the arguments. Those are just my thoughts. What do you think about coding boot camps? If you go there, you're dedicated, this is what you want to do, you want to learn, and you don't just go there and think that they'll teach you everything, then that's good. Because in high school, for me at least, I know, I'd go to class, kind of retain a little bit of the information. I'd be able to pass any test that they put at me. Maybe do a little bit of cramming beforehand. But when it comes to coding, that's something that you actually need to dive into in class on your own. A lot of people like to talk about how they're self-taught developers by having no computer science degree or anything of that nature. But when it comes to even having a computer science degree, a lot of those people are also self-taught, because you're not going to learn everything in class. Like, it's a 1-hour class a handful of times a week. How much are you really going to learn? Rather than going after class 4 hours of coding, you're going to learn a whole lot more. What do you struggle with most when you first learned to code? I thought there's going to be a moment where I just started catching on to everything, but I realized that everything is still a struggle. Computer science and computer engineering are largely interchangeable. The only difference is CE goes into hardware, CS goes into software. No and yes. Computer science and computer engineering are largely interchangeable. I disagree with that because of your next point. I feel like it's a little bit contradictory. The difference is computer engineering is largely focused on the hardware side of things, where computer science is largely focused on the software side of things. So I wouldn't call them interchangeable, but I would call them related. Is information systems a good degree if I want to become a software engineer? I've always thought of information systems more so in the information technology side of things. So I don't know. I'm learning Java, and I want to know, is it possible to clear the console inside the program? You could just type clear, but yeah, there ought to be. You ought to be able to just have your program clear the console, just like when you're in terminal and you type in clear. Is C not applicable anywhere in practical life other than OS design? No, I think it extends further than that. But I remember writing in C one time, and I didn't like it. So I didn't do any more research beyond that. And I think that was an operating systems class of mine. What is a better way to start on video games development? So there's a few different ways to go about this. I think, creating simple games like a Flappy Bird or an Asteroids or something like that. Of course, if you don't know anything about it, that may seem a little bit far-fetched. But just a simple terminal type application. Let's not even say Flappy Bird. No animations or anything like that. Let's say tic-tac-toe. Like you can do tic-tac-toe. That's technically a game, and create that in the terminal, and then you can go that route. Or, while I do recommend that should be your first method, you can also go the game development engine route. Like Fortnite, that is created using the Epic Games Unreal Engine. And then you have Unity, which a lot of people use for mobile game development. So I'd say just have some fun in the terminal creating some games, and if you want to do more and more when it comes to using the engines, then I mean that's a way you could go as well. Just depends, personal preference. Do you think a DBA role is a good entry point into tech? Currently in finance, but was to become a software developer doing the self-taught route. I feel like a DBA, that database administrator, that typically isn't an entry point, is it? I feel like you typically are some sort of, lower level when it comes to the database work, and then you work your way into the database administration position. Similar to I feel like you need to be a software developer. Well, there's a few different things. Be a software developer, and then a senior software developer, and then a tech lead or a project manager or something like that. Then I just feel like a DBA position is something that you grow into instead of an entry point. Just started working as back-end performance tester. Do you think it would be possible to transition to a developer role down the line? Yeah. I don't have a CS degree, but that was me reading from the comment. Yeah, I think you could, as long as you show that you're able to develop the software. Portfolio. Have you gone through any other courses in your open source computer science degree curriculum? Yeah, I've gone through a few, not as in depth because I've kind of already done it as my own computer science degree, but I've gone through a few of them, tried to vet a few of them. Some of them I knew were good just based on past experience. Some of them I'm like, Like when I was doing some of the pull requests, I'm like, is this one better than this one? When it came to intro to programming, I think I changed it from the UVA course to Harvard. The reason I put it as a UVA course, I'm from Virginia, so maybe I was a little bit biased there. I think I also chose it because of the language. I think they may have gone with Java and Harvard gone with something else. I'm not sure. I could be wrong there. Did you go through calculus at university? Yeah, I went through 2 years of calculus. 2 years of calculus and then, linear algebra and all that fun stuff. In all honesty, calculus 2 for me was easier than calculus 1. I don't know if because the calculus 1 was like a, what do they call it? Not like a filter. That there's a word for it, but like a filter course. They filter out all the people who aren't really serious about it in Calc 1, and then Calc 2 it's a little bit easier, or because I already knew the fundamentals and the basics, so Calc 2 it made it a little bit easier. Whatever. Integrals. Just need to know integrals and derivatives. What's the difference? Advantage, disadvantages. Well, where did your comment go? What's it between using tools like Webflow and traditional JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and whatever framework when creating sites? So, I guess it's just whatever you want to do. I obviously had experience with HTML, CSS, Bootstrap I would use instead of diving deep into CSS, and then instead of JavaScript I would use TypeScript when I was doing the traditional development. But when it came to my own site, I knew what I wanted. I didn't want to focus on the development route. I just want to focus on getting the site up and making it look good and things of that nature. So I thought that Webflow looked interesting because one of y'all recommended it. So I went with Webflow. But if you're looking for a job, traditional route. Webflow for your own projects. If you find that fun, you're also able to export it. You export the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and edit that to your liking as well. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. Okay, big question. Tabs or spaces? Tabs that are registered as spaces. I used to be only tabs because I didn't want to just sit here and just hit the spacebar all the time. But when it came to how my old job, how they would develop their software, we would hit a tab and it would create 5 spaces or however many spaces it may have been instead of being one tab. So it'd make it easier for us, but it'll also be locked into spaces for whatever reason they decided. So that's kind of what I've rolled with. Last question. Not really last question. This was part of the comment. Last question. So I recently got interested in video editing and animation. Any suggestions for learning? Just keep on doing it. Find fun projects to create. Because it's not like you can go into it and think that, okay, I want to learn how to do everything that has to do with editing and animations. But until you have an actual use case is when you'll really remember it. If you have an actual use case when it comes to creating these things, then you'll be more interested in doing it than just learning it for the sake of just learning. It seems like a ton of people want to work at a big tech company. I've always wanted to work at a smaller company like you used to. Did you ever want to work at a big tech company? I'm sure along the way I did, maybe. But here's the thing. I really like where I live, and there's not many big tech companies around where I live. I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I mean, close by there's Raleigh, North Carolina, and that's like 3 hours away. I feel like that would be a cool place to live, and they have the Research Triangle, and they have some big companies. I think IBM has a headquarters there and things of that nature. But I just want to live where I live, so I didn't have the desire, let's just say this, I didn't have the desire to move to California for one of the big tech companies. How do you take care of your beard and hair? And what about the Salt Life clothes you usually wear? Is it sponsored or something? No. I really wanted one of your hats, but I can't find it. That old Salt Life hat, I actually ended up throwing it away because I wore it all the time and, well, got kind of ragged. Not sponsored by Salt Life or nothing. I would also wear Salty Crew. I like Salty Crew a little bit better than Salt Life for some reason. I think just because of the owners of Salty Crew. But I take care of beard and hair. I don't know. Just brush it. Wash it sometimes. Solid once a month. Do some gaming stream. I did that a couple times on Twitch, but I get angry when I game for too long, so y'all don't want to see me. Y'all don't want to see that side of me. Is it a good idea to study while taking a course at Amazon? Is it a good idea to study while taking a course at Amazon? I mean, I suppose so. I'm not sure I understand that question. Hey man, I'm 26. I don't really have much going for me in life. Do you think I could get a job if I taught myself coding? There have been people self-taught. I mean, strictly self-taught. They just do online classes, Stack Overflow and things of that nature, and Udemy or Team Treehouse, those, or Coding Phase. Those are their bread and butter when it comes to learning how to code, and they've gotten jobs that way. So it's not impossible. No. I mean, that's what you're asking me. You just need to make sure that you actually fulfill your goal of learning how to code. How was physics? Yeah, it was okay. You know what's interesting? Y'all ever see that viral, I think it went viral on Twitter and got picked up by the news here and there, about that one physics teacher who would do all these fun, he was like 70 years old, give or take, and he would do all these fun stunts. Like he'd be on a pogo stick and just make fire do this and do this. Just a bunch of, I think it was physics. Yeah, a bunch of different physics type experiments in class. That was actually at the community college that I went to for a couple of years. I talked about doing online classes, I think, in the past. I've talked about it, I think. I did online classes at TCC. I did some night classes at TCC and a couple other in-person classes at TCC. And that's where that physics teacher was. But I didn't take physics at TCC. I took it at ODU, and 2 semesters of that, I think I did all right. I passed. I'm a big fan from South Africa. You got me on the right path, doing my first year of software engineering, doing internships after your advice. Good to hear. I know I already read that one. I don't know if my mic was muted though, so I read it again. How long did it take you to grow your beard that long? I've trimmed it like a couple times, but I think the best way to be able to tell that is go back. This is actually how I tell if I actually want to know how long I've been growing it. I go back on my YouTube videos, look at the thumbnails, and I'm like, oh, all right, I have a little stubble there. That was 4 months ago. 4-month beard. I don't know if that's the actual time frame, but that's how I do it. Have you watched Silicon Valley? It's freaking good. How does that translate to real life? I can't answer that because I haven't watched Silicon Valley, and I know a lot of people have been telling me to, but I don't know. I kind of don't watch it for the fun of it. I remember when I was younger, I didn't watch Forrest Gump until I was like 15 years old, just for the memes. I just thought it was funny when people say "Run, Forrest, Run." I knew what it was from, obviously, but I'm like, I ain't never seen that movie. What are you talking about? I just like jokes. I literally didn't watch Forrest Gump. I'm not watching Silicon Valley for that same exact reason. Because, I mean, I would be their target audience, wouldn't I? And supposedly I look like someone on Silicon Valley, the show. I'm jumping from learning one language technology to another. Should I mainly focus on one to get better at it or learn many to expand my skill set? Get one. I said this at the beginning of the stream. Get one. Get good at one. Take it up to a good level. And then if you want to jump ship and learn something else, then go ahead and do that. But you're going to get in the trap of you hit that barrier. Like you understand the basics. You're able to do like a basic terminal application in Java. And then you're like, gets a little too hard. So you jump ship and start learning Swift or C++ or a different language or Python not because you're no longer interested in it, but because it gets a little bit too hard and you find it a little bit intimidating and you think it'll be easier for you to just go learn the basics of another language. What's up, Paolo? How's my boy Forrest doing? I'm doing well. How are you doing? About to start Java after learning basics of C. Hope it goes smooth. I think it will. Like I said, I started off with Java. Like I took like one course of Java and then I jumped into intro of C++ and took that up and then laterally learned Java from there. And somewhere in that time, I did a C application and that sucked. I don't know. Maybe other people have an easier time with C than me, but I didn't like it. I like Java a lot more. C++ a lot more. C#, supposedly they say C# is Java done right, so maybe I should try that out as well. Where did you graduate? Old Dominion University. And what was the company you worked with right out of college? The company I worked with, it's called Prime 3 Software. They're in the logistics and transportation industry. We had I was on a big Fortune 500 company contract building the software for that shipping company. I don't know how much I could talk about, so I'll just leave it at that. I just graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. How do you stay motivated in doing leak code, reading review books, and job hunting? I never really did leak code. Reading review books, I don't think I did that either. I think I talked about this earlier where when it came to me graduating, I already had a job lined up. But when it comes to staying motivated, just job hunt, cater your resume to that job for the skills that you have. Is that a new built PC in the background? Yeah, right here. New as of, 4 or 5 months ago. I made a video about it. And actually, if you didn't watch my video 2 videos ago, where I go over kind of like a retrospective on 2019, a YouTube channel, and kind of the plans for 2020, my least viewed video of 2019 was where, it's kind of a vloggy style video. I just thought, I just want to make a fun video. And it's also when I received a package for this, it was a GeForce RTX 2060 Super. It was after this whole entire thing was already built. It's because my original 2060 Super bricked. Artifacts all over the screen. Anytime I'll do anything GPU intensive, graphic intensive, brick, shut down, and I actually reloaded the operating system and all of these different programs on my computers like 7 or 8 times in that span because I thought I didn't think it was the GPU since everything was new. I thought it was something with the operating system because of how I went about installing that. Just fun fact of the day. Don't know where I was going with that. Tips for a high school student about to study software engineering next year. Have fun with it. Let your curiosity take you. What camera do you use for live streaming? Right now, you see my Nikon Z6 right there. That's what I do for recording. But this right here is the Logitech C920. And I use OBS for my streaming software. How do you know what is a good level? When it comes to programming in like your languages, I don't know. I guess I say that without actually thinking about it. Wait, what is this chat revenue? Are people doing super chats and I'm not seeing them? What in the world? I'm so confused. Am I actually missing that? Because I don't see it in this chat here. What was the question I was about to answer? And I'll get back to those in a second. Apologize if y'all donated and if I didn't see that. It didn't show it for me. But I don't remember what I was going to answer. Sorry whoever asked that question. Do you have any suggestions on programming and concept? Any book suggestions? Yes, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. I think I may have. No, I haven't made a video about that because I'm not huge. I'm not a huge reader, so I felt like I wasn't in a good place to be able to suggest books. But no, I'm not even sure I'd even recommend the books that I have. Oh, how do you know that you were proficient at a language to start a new one? That's the question I was going on when it came to the levels. Well, when it came to the levels, I don't know. I guess I never really thought about that. That's what I just said. I don't know. I think you're able to create decent applications, whether it be terminal applications or whatever, and you understand a good amount of the programming concepts. And that's the thing. You understand the programming concepts. You understand the syntax, what a variable is, what a method or function is, what a class is, and how those relate. And that now that you've gotten into object-oriented programming, I think that's a good level to go about. Get into object-oriented programming, learn about object-oriented programming, how that works in whatever language you start off with. Then once you have a fair understanding of that, I would recommend going on into learning the next language if you want to jump ship there. I don't know how sound that advice is, to be honest with you, but that's all I got for you. How do you fight pressure? I just think that'll be over soon if it's something like that. If I guess it depends what type of pressure you're talking about, but I actually work better under pressure because I know I only have X amount of time left when it talks about time-intensive pressure, so I handle that fairly well. Please save this live. Okay. Oh, and by the way, if anybody's in this watching it right now, please give this video a big thumbs up. Yes, I tried to donate 20 twice to you when you started the stream, but the stream would not let me donate. I don't know how this works. Oh. I didn't want to do that. Did this just insert an ad? Are y'all watching an ad right now? I clicked the $ button thinking it would take me to monetization, but it didn't. I enabled monetization. I don't know. I'm going to open up this stream on my own channel just to see if like Super Chat is working. I don't know. This is why this is the last time I'll ever do it. I don't want to hear myself. That's horrible. I wonder how to give a solid 20 rather than 19.99. Okay, Bite Hunter, looks like the Super Chat is working. At least for that one right there. But I can't see any of the old Super Chats in my chat. Actually, I've never seen any of these Super Chats in. I could see it in this chat right here. Sorry guys. But I don't know. I don't know how the Super Chat works actually. How's your coffee beans business doing? Hector, doing better than I thought it was going to do. In all honesty, I'm very happy with it. Message retracted. I was reading that one. I'm learning CS on my college, and there's just 2-track network and AI what to choose, whichever one piques your interest. There's just 2 tracks, network or artificial intelligence. Like I said, whichever one piques your interest. I saw an ad when I first joined. I wonder if that's what it means by monetization enabled. BRB reloading the video. All right. Am I frozen? No, I'm not frozen. I'm good. All right, let's get back in the groove of things because we're not quite done with this live stream. Sorry, I had to take a quick intermission to figure this out. At least it's just anyone to. I appreciate the stream. Thank you, Coder0704. I appreciate that. With the $5 super chat right after Buy Hunter with the $19.99. I don't know how you do a solid 20. That's pretty cool. Let me trim your beard, homie. Come see me at Topper's Barbershop in VB. Topper's Barbershop. Where? I'm just seeing where you are. I'm just seeing where you are. All right, so you're up there. You're at Bird Neck before you get to Virginia Beach Boulevard. All right, maybe so. We'll look for someone to trim my beard because I'm kind of over right now, considering just shaving the whole thing off. I understand most of the concept. U982T with the 499 euros. Is that what that symbol means? Sorry, I'm American. Thank you. I appreciate that. I understand most of the concepts. My biggest challenge and my favorite part is having to put concepts together to fix one big problem like recursion and 2D arrays together. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on how it sets in your head and how you have the understanding of it and how you can go about learning to integrate those two concepts together. When I'm doing computer science assignments, I can usually find an answer online, but I feel like I'm not really learning or problem solving. I wish I had a professor to guide me to an answer instead, so I learn. Well, yeah, I face that problem because you're like, you have a particular program or a particular problem you're trying to solve within this program. You look it up and you find the whole entire program, and you're just like, do I just like copy and paste that and change the variable names or in the class names, or what do I do? The best way, like, yeah, that's a problem in and of itself, but the best way to go about it when it comes to doing computer science assignments, that is to give it a go. Just give it a go based on what you learn in class, because this assignment should be based on what you learn in class. And even if you're just gotten a little bit, if you're stuck on a particular problem, you have an understanding to the point where you do the rubber ducky method and you still don't have any solutions, go to your professor's office hours and they'll be able to guide you over that hump. I have a good grasp of JavaScript and some familiarity with Python. Do you think I'll be fine in an assembly language programming class? I think you'll be fine in a assembly language programming class if you look forward to it. I'm not sure how much the JavaScript or Python familiarity will transfer over to that, so it just depends. I started university this year and I already have a programming title and worked for a year. Should I aim for money or a good internship? Does it really make a difference? I'm from Spain, so I don't know how they do it over in Spain, but when it comes to computer science internships, programming internships over here in the United States, my personal belief is that you ought to be getting paid for it. This isn't just like a run and get coffee type of internship. I don't even know if they actually have those, but it's not like a simple internship where you're not really doing much work. This is like your computer science student programming internship. You ought to be getting paid. In all honesty, you ought to be getting paid better than your side jobs that you had in high school. At least I did. Hello, Forest Knight. I look up to you a lot. Keep on going. I appreciate that. And I will. Is Plan 9 a good operating system to learn? Apologize for my ignorance. Don't know what Plan 9 is. There. Reloading the video worked. It's back. Good to hear. Good to hear. I don't know what you're referring to, but good to hear. What do you think about WordPress and Wix? WordPress, good. I actually worked on a WordPress site here recently for a client that I took on the side, family friend. It was fun to work with. I actually did a WordPress site back, with the whole WAMP server and all that stuff back when I first started learning how to code, whenever that may have been. So I like WordPress. When it comes to Wix, that's a case by case basis. Wix, just depends on what you want. If you're a programmer, then I wouldn't consider Wix something to use, unless you if you want to just have your portfolio up on a site in order to show your terminal applications, then okay. If you're a web developer, then create your own website to show your portfolio. But if it's Wix or Squarespace, those have their place. But if you're a web developer taking on clients, then I would say go the WordPress route and build their sites with WordPress if that's what you're asking, instead of with Wix. Is First Supply Coffee going to release a high caffeine blend for late night coding sessions? That'd be a really good idea. What I'd like to do next is a dark roast. This one is a medium roast. I'd like to do a dark roast next. I'm not too old. I was over 50 when I started. Option Gal was over 50. Mike Honcho, like Tifu's dad. I know that comes from. What does that come from? Wow, brain fart. Mustache. Where's Mike Honcho come from? Movie, right? Hello, I'm 40 years old and would like to teach myself programming. Am I too old? Should I even bother? Well, we have Option Gal who responded to you who said learn when they're 50 or over 50 when they started. So that's a good answer. I am about to turn 25 here in 3 weeks. February 15th is my birthday. About to turn 25. I shouldn't be telling you my secrets. But I'm about to turn 25, so I can't, it's hard for me to relate. I can talk all I want about it, but the way I think about things is that think about these past 40 years of your life and how the average age is approaching 80. What do you want to be doing for the second half of your life, assuming you live to 80? I mean, do what you actually want to do. We suggest anyone to learn COBOL in 2020. Is it even a good idea to be serious about COBOL or Rust rather than machine learning? Maybe there's still jobs that, I'm sure there's jobs that do that. Maybe. I mean, there's probably a place for that, but if you're asking to learn that to get a job, I think there are other programming languages that, I know there are other programming languages that should take higher priority if you're looking to get a job. Does a bachelor's of arts in computer science look good on your resume when you apply for internship jobs for software engineer? I didn't even know there's Bachelor of Arts in computer science. Usually it's a Bachelor of Science. Shouldn't it be Bachelor's of Science? Mine's Bachelor's of Science. I don't know. But yeah, it would look good on your resume as long as you actually have it. I'm afraid of not being able to build a game on my own after finishing my Unity C# course. How can I overcome this kind of doubt, fear? Don't think that if you take a course, whether that's a college course or even a whole college degree or just a Udemy course or something online, that you'll be able to just type up whatever application that you have. If you have something in mind, figure out how to build the base. Figure out how to build the bare minimum. There's a word for this that maybe it's been too long since I ate, but I keep on having brain farts. That it's not prototype, but basically build a prototype of your work. Something with the bare minimum viable product, MVP. That's what I was looking for. Minimum viable product, and then start adding features into it. Right now, you're thinking like you're looking at a game and you're thinking of all these different aspects of the game that you can integrate into yours. Don't worry about all that. Minimum viable product, and then start adding features and look up each thing that you need to do along the way. I'm going all the way down. I'm going all the way down to the chat because we fell back a little bit. You're really 25? No, I'm 24. I'm almost 25. After going through the PC, there's nothing that will take me down. Am I allowed to ask a stupid question? Yeah. I mean, I give stupid answers, so stupid questions are more than acceptable. I'm not saying I'll answer it, but it's acceptable. As long as it's not weird. Stupid questions, yes. Weird questions, no. What are your thoughts on online CS degrees? Are they worth it or just best to go down self-taught route? I don't have a degree and I'm basically 31. I took a lot of my classes from my computer science degree online. ODU actually offers, I think, full-on online computer science degree. So if you're talking about that, if it's from a college, don't get me wrong. Old Dominion University, that's a college I went to. That's not one of the top computer science colleges that there are. It's not. It taught me a lot. I'm happy I went there because of where I am today. If I didn't go there and I went somewhere else and maybe I wouldn't be in the same spot, I just don't have regrets on it. But there are degrees online, as long as you that are good. Or you can go the self-taught route. It just depends on how much money you want to spend and things of that nature. It's all in all on a case-by-case basis. Minimum viable product. I know now. Thank you. Thank you, Casey and Grayson. What are your plans to expand the coffee business? So, from right now, this is from One Joker Pro. For right now, coffee business is a single roast. I want to grow this into a point where I start adding different roasts, and then I would like a dark roast. Not so sure about the light roast because I haven't even drinking any type of light roast that I actually like. So I'd have to get someone close to me that likes light roasts in order to know what is good. Because the reason I chose this blend is because my wife and I, we love this coffee. When we tasted it, y'all saw some of these other coffee, like our faces were like, that's not good coffee. When we're actually looking for a roaster for our coffee. And then eventually we'd like to be able to have our own roaster and be roasting our own coffee instead of outsourcing that. I say outsourcing like it's like done way over. It's done right here in Virginia Beach, but I'd like to be able to have it all under one roof in a warehouse. Freecodecamp.org. Do you know them? If yes, what do you think about them? Yeah, briefly. I've done like an interview or two with them, like a typed up interview where someone was having a speech who represented Free Code Camp, and they wanted to talk about kind of how I went about creating my YouTube channel, I think, surrounding software development. But I've also had my computer science terminology series. It was like a 2-episode series that they combined it into one and put up on their YouTube channel. They asked my permission first, of course. But yeah, I like Free Code Camp. Cool stuff what they're doing over there because it's free. I like free. You born in 1995? Wow, bro, you are my brother's age and he is a computer engineer. Yep, born in 1995. Ooh, we jumped. We jumped again. I joined just now and feel like I've missed so much. That's okay, Aaron. We're going to continue to answer questions here. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. And then I'll have this linked somewhere. So like an unlisted video, or I'll probably just end up leaving this on my channel for everybody to watch. Hitting an hour and 17 minutes now. Whew. But I'm having fun. I feel like we haven't even gotten started. Doesn't feel like it's been that long. Have you tried Frontity? It helps on getting WordPress faster and scalable. Never used it. Is it possible to get into cybersecurity if you have a degree in electrical engineering? Possible, sure. I don't know how related electrical engineering is to cybersecurity. I feel like it's not that. I mean, you know, it's still in the STEM field, but I think that's where the similarities may end. So I think you have to do quite a bit of studying and learning if you want to get into the cybersecurity route if you're an electrical engineer. But there's a positive here. If you're an electrical engineer, you have a degree in electrical engineering, when it comes to jobs in the cybersecurity sector, they understand that, like, I mean, you can learn. If you can get and obtain any type of STEM degree, you know that person has the ability to learn and learn well. So if you throw a problem at them, they'll probably be able to figure it out. How's your Nova Scotia doing? We want updates. And when you say we, I don't know how many people are included in there, but she's doing very well. Today is actually her birthday. She's 1 year old. So it's funny you ask about her. But yeah, her name's Rainy. She's doing wonderful. If you heard a dog barking early in the stream, that was probably her. I just started an internship at IBM, and my school never required us to use command line. And am I going to die is what you're asking. Maybe. Nah, just do a little bit of research. What you ought to do is have a notepad if you don't know anything about the command line, and you have like CD, that stands for change directory. LS, that means for list everything in the directory. I'm guessing LS stands for list. Otherwise, how do they get the LS? But then make dir, that's make a directory. And just kind of have all of those. You may not need to know make directory, but just have all of those that you find yourself using in a notepad or a sticky note up on your computer. That way you could kind of have like it kind of acts as a shortcut. Difference between CS and software engineering degree. CS is more broad, software engineering is more specific. You could also have an emphasis of software engineering within computer science, which brings me back to the fact that computer science is more broad. I just got into 42 school. What's your opinion on it? I don't know what that is, so I don't have an opinion on it. Is HTML a good starting point for someone who wants to self-teach? I mean, if you want to learn how to develop the front end of websites, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, yes. If you want to look into Bootstrap as a framework, okay. But yeah, HTML, if you're starting when it comes to a website creation, yeah, you need to know HTML. Like that, it's a foregone conclusion. You need to know HTML. Is it possible to get into cybersecurity? I already answered that. Software engineer is more hardware focused. No. Computer engineer is more hardware focused. Software engineer is more software focused. OMG, you're so young. Hi. Anyways, thanks for all the info. I had to get back on my math homework. Thanks, and good luck with your math homework. What is the single best book to learn and practice algorithms and data structures? I don't know off the top of my head. I've skimmed through a few, but I don't know what the best one ought to be. All right, we're skipping all the way down to the bottom of the chat. Sorry if I was really close to your comment and didn't hit it. Advice on starting a new programming job. Have fun with it. Be open. And I actually think I made a video about this. I mentioned it in a video in the past, is that try to figure out all the problems when it comes to what you're programming, but also don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm not talking about on Stack Overflow all the time. I'm talking about, you have a fellow software engineer, senior software engineer, tech lead of that nature. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because they want you to learn and get the job done just as much as you want to get the job done and know what you're doing. I'm 24 and still haven't started college and wouldn't be able to until summer. I'm currently self-teaching, but can't tell if I should just stick with university or take a chance with self-teaching. Yes, you're going to be self-teaching throughout your university degree because you're going to be having to learn all of those things. You may have the thing about university college, you have professors and curriculum to guide you in the right direction, which is a huge plus. So that's a very good thing. But self-teaching, either way, you're going to be doing the self-teaching. Mm, 172 watching, 172K subs. Hey, I like that. I like numbers when they work out like that. I think actually LS stands for list short and LL stands for list long. I wonder what does the difference look like? Luda, what does the difference look like when you type in LS and LL? Maybe you get more information on the files that are in there. That's probably what it is, actually. So LS lists everything that's in that directory. List short. I'm in my last semester of my software engineering degree. I've never really had the desire to have a traditional job. I have a contract lined up with a local company. Any advice on starting my own company? I never really had a desire. Well, excuse me. I would say the way I did it is that I kind of worked on, building my own business, if you will, with YouTube or whatever route you decide to go, while I was doing school, while I was having a job. And I think that is the most feasible way to go about things, rather than, you don't, unless you have all the money in the world, which most of us don't, you can't really just, go full force, no job, starting your own business without having all of this stress and potentially ending up in a job later down the line. I would say build something up to the point where you going to your actual job is making you lose money or lose potential business, and then you can make that leap. But whenever it comes to starting your own company, I have YouTube business, I have a coffee company, you can have a software development firm. There's so many different sectors that I don't know how much more advice I can give than that. Is there a difference between command prompt and command line? Command prompt and command line. Maybe. How do companies you work for view the YouTube channel thing? Because you're really real about everything, and some companies really dislike that stuff and might think you get distracted by it. I never talked about my YouTube channel during my internships or during my last job. My boss did find out that I had a YouTube channel, didn't really say anything about it for months until I think I brought it up to him. Maybe he brought it up to me like a couple months later, but he was just, hey, you need any help? Because he's actually, the owner of the company was a tech lead on this project as well. He's like, hey, if you need to run anything by me when it comes to you making your YouTube videos, you have any questions, I see you do obviously software development stuff, hey, let me know. If you need someone to view over it, like, he was real cool about it, to say the least. So I'm sure there's companies out there that really dislike it, but mine wasn't, and I don't plan to. I think, especially where I plan to go with this, if I ever wanted a job again, I think they would really like the work that I will have on my YouTube channel because of all the code and things that we're going to be doing in the near future. After learning how to use the Linux commands, I don't think I can ever go back. No, of course not. All right, we're jumping down to the bottom of the chat again. Is it early to learn quantum programming? Hell if I know, to be honest with you. I don't know. Do you think that web dev and app dev will die? No. Hey, I'm a freshman in high school and want to see if there are any courses I don't need but are helpful. No, nothing comes to mind. I'm sure there are, but will this time be a regular streaming time? The title of this stream is "This was the only time I'll ever stream," so probably not. How do you achieve this epic beard? It just kind of does it on its own. Can you tell us Python learning resources, and also should I do OSSC computer science degree for self-teach? Yeah, you can do the OSSC computer science degree. I also have the, you go on my GitHub, github.com/FarceKnight. I have the open source computer science degree over there, which I actually compared it afterwards and drew a bit of inspiration from the OSSC, but I personally like mine better, although I may be a little bit biased. So yeah, I mean, I think those are good routes to go. That helps. Thanks for the answer. No problem, Chris. No problem. Do employers have a problem between a degree for software engineering and a diploma in it? In my mind, a diploma is from high school and a degree is from college. So I guess I don't understand the question. VM. Command prompt is Windows shell program. Other shell programs, bash. Command line, aka terminal. Okay, so command prompt would be considered like, okay, shell and bash in all of those. Command line, aka terminal, but isn't a bash the client for the terminal or the prompt? Okay, I see what you're saying there. Do employers have a problem between a degree? Oh, I just answered that. Sorry. Hey, I'm from Brazil. You work with people other nationality. How are opportunities in your state? I did when I was at Norfolk Southern. I was at Norfolk Southern for an internship, and yeah, we had different nationalities there. That's located in Norfolk, Virginia. At least for the time being, they're moving to Atlanta here soon, Atlanta, Georgia. So yeah, I mean there are, especially in Virginia as well, because we have Washington D.C. up there in North Virginia. We have Richmond. Those are more so Washington D.C. A lot of international folks, people of other nationalities, come there and do a lot of work there. Stay in the Northern Virginia aspect, which is right out of DC and whatnot. So, yeah. What platform do you use to trade stocks? When I did a lot of day trading and whatnot, I would use, I actually tried SureTrader for a little while because they didn't have a pattern day trading rule and I didn't have $25,000 to dump into a trading account. But man, that can get you in trouble because they have a 6-to-1 like stock trading ratio. I know there's a word for it, but it's been so long. But TD Ameritrade, I like TD Ameritrade a lot. I like the trading software. I do use Robinhood, but not like to trade, but more so to invest because their fill times aren't very good. But they're free, so that's cool too. Do you recommend app or web dev? What about web app dev? It just depends on whatever you want to do. All right, students, got to go. Digital Fundamentals call. All right, Spartacus edits. Have some fun. What has more future, PHP or .NET? I don't see PHP going anywhere. I don't really see either of those going anywhere. So, both? Neither? Which backend stack do you recommend? We didn't really necessarily have a particular stack where I worked, but a lot of people seem to like the mean stack. When I was in college, I did the LAMP stack. Just depends. I feel like a lot of these questions are either personal preference or depends on the particular project or the company in which you care to work for. Have you seen the new Windows terminal that they're working on? Yeah, I've heard of it. It seems fine. I mean, it's interesting because Windows, like, they're obviously not Linux or Linux-based or Unix-based, rather, while macOS is Unix-based. Not Unix-like. A lot of people like to say, hey, they're Unix-like. Technically, they're Unix-based, even though I'm pretty sure those are synonymous. And then you have all those Linux distros and everything. But if they can get something that just works like terminal and you don't have to do the freaking wrong slash, I want to have everything /. I don't want any backslashes like they like to do in a Windows shell and things of that nature. So as long as they do it just like terminal, I'll be happy. What programming language is needed for professional IT manager and cybersecurity? Again, depends. How do you use to study, time management stuff? I mean, just cut out a chunk of time, focus on, 1 hour every single day. You're going to have to focus on that. on whatever you want to learn. Been enjoying your content lately from Briano. Been enjoying your content lately also. I'm going to start first year computer science degree next month. Any recommendation Python book for beginner that uses good coding conventions? I don't have any necessary recommendations. Just know that if your computer science degree teaches Python, they'll probably recommend you a book. If they don't teach Python, well, then you may be learning Python and Java, or learning Python and C++. And while you can do that, and while I did that, I did C++ and Java in college, in their respective time frames, as well as learning C++ for iOS development. So I did it, but it's better to focus on one. Retrospectively looking at it. Do as I say, not as I do. Is Virginia a good place to live for a software engineer career-wise, or would I be better off moving to California? I mean, obviously there's Silicon Valley over in California. You also have to take into consideration, you get paid a lot of money, but you also spend a lot of money because of the cost of living. A lot of people like to say, well, you can save money by having a roommate. Well, I mean, you could save money here by having a roommate as well. You probably save even more. It just all depends where you want to work. If money has a factor, the job lifestyle. A lot of people talk about Silicon Valley, how they have that high expectation. You need to work 10, 12, 14 hours every single day. We have all this food coming in here. We have cafeterias and things of that nature, all these coffee shops, so you don't need to go anywhere. You can just stay here all the time, these napping pods. But I've also heard the latter, or the opposite rather, where instead of having that feeling that you need to be working all the time, that people just go in there, these big tech companies, and they work 8-hour days. Maybe they go away for 30 minutes or an hour for lunch. They come back, but they get in there 8 hours of work and they go home. So I've heard either or. Just depends on how you want to work, where you want to work, your lifestyle. I want to be a full stack web dev, so I should learn the back end first or the front end. Front end's easier. It'll be less scary for you. So I would say front end. I don't know. Maybe find a project where you learn both at the same time. Some more software videos this year. Less, maybe even no tips and trick videos this year. More coding videos. But the thing is, with the coding videos, they're going to be less frequent. So if I don't get the response that I think I'm going to get, I think the videos that I have planned are going to be so entertaining that so many people are going to watch them. I mean, that's obviously the goal, but I feel like so many people are going to watch them and enjoy them that they're going to be getting more total views than making 5 tips and tricks videos when it comes to, bad programming habits or 3 things that every software engineer should know. If it doesn't go the way I think it's going to go, then maybe I'll have to do some of those tips and trick videos, considering this is my full-time deal now. I just want to be able to focus on the coding and creating videos. Like, that's all I want to do. And of course, a coffee business, yes, but like for this side of things, I want to code. I want to make videos. That's all I want to do. Like that's always been the goal. So if I could do that, coding videos all day long, artificial intelligence. What portfolio project do you recommend building? Something that'll apply to whatever job you're applying to. Best time management advice to a CS student: uninstall Steam. Yeah, and Epic Games, because Fortnite, obviously everyone has that installed because it's free. Uninstall Steam, Fortnite, World of Warcraft. Is this real life? Yes, this is real life. Python or Java? I like Java better. In a career as a business analyst, how well do you have to know programming? I was a systems analyst, and I actually worked closely with some of the business analyst contractors when I was at Norfolk Southern. I also worked with the full-time systems analyst. When I say I was a systems analyst, I was a systems analyst intern. They didn't really need to know much. I'll come out there in a sec. Okay, I'll come out there in a sec. What's best PC for full stack dev right now? My current PC lagging when I run Linux on VM. Build a custom PC. And that's a good way to go about it, and just kind of build it out. Look at some of the PCs. When it comes to, what is that called? PC Part Picker. They have a whole gallery for that. Yes, please make more coding videos. Will do, JR. Will do. JR. I feel like you've been here for a while. Not just in the stream, but on my channel. What do you think about digital immortality? That's an interesting thing. I don't know if I want to dive down that rabbit hole right now. maybe at a future time, but there's this future time. I'm heading out. Thanks for the stream and answers, man. Keep grinding, bro. Of course, Chris. Of course. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, coding videos are my favorite. I don't know if you've seen Devin Crawford, but he does coding and describes all the problems and everything he's doing. Yeah, I have seen Devin Crawford. I feel like he hasn't uploaded in like a year, and I say feel like I'm fairly confident he hasn't uploaded in a year. All right, I'm just going to answer like 3 more questions, maybe 5. Yeah, coding videos are my favorite. I don't know if you've seen. I just read that one. I want to be full stack web dev, so I should learn back end for. I already answered that one. 757. I'm from your area, yes sir. For Virginia Beach, Pungo, Blackwater area actually. Is a computer engineering degree a good route towards becoming a software engineer? I mean, it can be a route to become a software engineer, but I think something more computer science. Because here's the thing: computer engineering, they're more focused on hardware than software, but they still do coding. They still do coding in a computer engineering degree, just not as much as a computer science degree, or if your college offers a software engineering degree. Thanks, brother. No problem, Techstar. How many different coffees did you try before settling on your current blend for First Supply Coffee? At least a dozen. At least a dozen. All from different roasters. It was interesting. Why is this the only time you'll ever live stream? VMs are kind of slow anyway. Depends on how much memory cores you allocate to them. Did I misunderstand someone's comment up here? What's the best PC for full stack dev right now? My current PC lagging when I run Linux on VM. I did misunderstand that question. When it comes to a virtual machine, you will see some lagging. I used to do full development on a virtual machine. Just make sure you allocate the appropriate amount of resources to your virtual machine to make sure it's the most optimal. I did Ubuntu on it. I have a whole video about that. So I misread your question, but yeah. John Paul. Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's something there. I'm telling you what, Google, they own YouTube. Real stuff going on. All right, 2 more questions. What are some goals, like 5 years from now, goals should junior entry-level devs have? There are a lot of people who just like to be software engineers and continue to be software engineers. Maybe become a senior software engineer, but they don't have the goal or desire to become a tech lead or a project manager or even climb up the corporate ladder. So it depends on whatever you want to do. But if I were to go that route, I mean, 5 years, you're still going to be in the software engineering program. I would want to be a project manager. I just like the oversight. That can get hectic because project managers, at least our project manager, they were the communication between the end user, which we also communicated with the end user as well, but they were the main communication between the end user and us team of developers. And that's not always the most fun position to be in, but just pick a path, go for it. All right, this is the last question. How hard is the transition of C# to C++? It ought not be that hard. I think that C# and C++ are very similar. So, obviously they have their distinct differences, don't get me wrong. But they're definitely